Good morning children, Sairam. Today in this video we will do revision of history lesson number 2 historiography Indian tradition, wherein we will be revising about the tradition of Indian historiography and Indian historiography various ideological frameworks. So now let's revise children. Let us first revise about historiography in the ancient period. Now children, in the ancient period in India, memories of great deeds of ancestors, mythological lore, that is all the treasures or stories, social transitions, etc. were preserved with the help of oral recitals. So children, in the ancient period in India, memories of great deeds of our ancestors, mythological lore and social transitions, that is whatever changes have taken place over a period of time, they are preserved with the help of oral recitals, means it was passed from one generation to another through oral recitals, that is orally. Children, the inscriptions on the Harappan seals, you have learnt about the Harappan civilization, yes. So the inscription, that is whatever was written on the Harappan seals and other artifacts means suppose jewelry, pottery, all these, okay, confirm that Indians had mastered the art of writing as early as the 3rd millennium BCE or perhaps before that. So children, on the Harappan seals, whatever was carved out or whatever was engraved on that, it confirmed that Indians had mastered the art of writing as early as the 3rd millennium BCE or perhaps before that. However, the script, that is the Harappan script, has not yet been decoded. It is not being decoded yet. It is not deciphered, or you can say it is not translated yet. Now, the earliest written documents of historical nature found in India, they are in the form of inscriptions and they are dated to 3rd century BCE, that is Emperor Ashok Maurya's times. His edicts are inscribed on natural rocks and stone pillars. Edicts means all the royal orders, okay, they are inscribed on the natural rocks and stone pillars. Just have an example, okay, just this is an example of a picture wherein the stone, you just have a look at the stone, okay, and it is being something is written on that, or you can say it is inscribed, or you can say it is engraved on that. They used to write on the stone, okay. So all the royal orders, that is the edicts, it is called as edicts, so they used to inscribe it on the stone or on the pillars, okay. Now, from the 1st century CE, inscriptions begin to occur on coins, metal images, sculptures and also on copper plates. So previously it was on the stones, then later on it started on coins, metal images, sculptures and also on copper plates. And through that we get to know about the important historical information like dates of various kings, the dynastic genealogies, territorial extent, that is the king's empire, from where to where it was extended, territorial extent, administration during that period, political events, social organization, climate, famines, etc. So all through the inscriptions which were on the metal images, or you can say on the sculptures, on the coins, through that we used to get this information. Now this is one example of a copper plate, Sohagora copper plate. Now this copper plate, children, was found at Sohagora, that is in district Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, and it is supposed to be from the Mauryan period, and the inscription on it is it is in the Brahmi script. Symbol is known as tree in railing and mountain at the beginning of the inscription also occur on punched mark coins. Another symbol which looks like a structure erected on 4 pillar is supposed to be indicative of a granary. An inscription records a royal order that grains stored in the granary should be distributed carefully. It is supposed to be suggestive of precautions taken in the times of famine. So suppose when there is a famine, so they used to store all the grains and then they used to distribute equally among the people. So this Sohagora copper plate, it was found in Gorakhpur district of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so this is very important, children. Now children, the ancient Indian literatures are important sources of history like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, Jain and Buddhist texts, travelogues by foreign travelers. These all are very important sources of history. Then the writings of biographies of kings and dynastic histories, even they mark an important step in Indian historiography. For example, Harshcharitra, written by in 7th century CE, it is written by Banabhatta, is King Harsha's biography. So Harshcharitra is written by Banabhatta. It is about the King Harsha's biography, and it portrays a realistic picture of social, economical, political, religious and cultural life during the king's time. So children, during that period, the writing of biographies of kings and dynastic histories, they are also very important source for us. And Harshacharit was written by Banabhat. It is about King Harsha's biography. He was of the Vardhan dynasty, and that biography, it portrays a realistic picture of the social, economic, political, religious and cultural life during the king's times. Okay children, now let us revise about historiography in the medieval period. Now children, in the medieval period, the style of writing Rajatarangini, the history of Kashmir by Kalhana in 12th century CE is quite close to the concept of modern historiography. Now children, we had learnt in modern historiography that whenever history is written, it should be based on the authentic historical documents. Means the historical documents, they should be very authentic. They should be examined very carefully. Critical examination of the documents. And history is not imagination. One cannot imagine and write history. Okay. So here the history of Kashmir by Kalhana, that is the style of writing Rajatarangini in 12th century CE, is quite close to the concept of modern historiography. Now children, in the medieval India, the historians in the court of Muslim rulers, they were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. Among them, Zayuddin Barani holds an important place. Now children, in his book Tariq-e-Firuz Shahi, he has stated the purpose of historiography. Now children, according to him, suppose when anyone writes about the emperor's valors or his policies, they should also include the failings of the ruler. Okay, if something wrong is done during that period or some policies have failed, so even that should be mentioned in when you write about history of that particular king. So it should not only have the positive points but also the negative concepts should be included in that. So it will be authentic. So here it is very close to the concept of modern historiography, which you have learned in your first lesson, that it should be authentic and the documents should be critically examined before writing history. Okay. Now, the children, Al-Biruni, he had wrote in Arabic about Indian knowledge and social life. There were so many, even the foreign travelers, they have written about our country's culture, about our traditions. So children, in the Muslim courts, there were some historians. Okay, they have also written about the kings. Now, Al-Biruni wrote in Arabic about Indian knowledge and social life. In the following period, many books about India were written by foreign scholars. Among them, to name a few, are Hasan Nizami's Tajul Masir, Minhaj-e-Siraj, Tabaqat-e-Nasri, various works by Amir Khusro, Tuzuki Timuri, the autobiography of Timur-e-Lang, who was also known as Amir Timur, who invaded India, Tariq-e-Mubarak Shahi by Yahya bin Ahmad Sirindi. Their accounts provide us the historic information of Sultanate period. Now children, in your textbook, if you see, there are some concepts which are given there are some boxes which are drawn. So even children, they are very important from the objective point of view. So you have to read all the information which is given in the boxes which are provided separately in your textbooks. So this can come in the concept map in your exam, or it can come as a objective type question. Okay. Now, account of foreign travelers in India are also important. There were some foreigners, those who have visited India, and in their travelogues they have described about our Indian culture. Among them are Ibn Battuta, Abul Razak, Marco Polo, Niccolo Conti, Barbosa, and Domingos Piaz. Their accounts provide us the historic information of medieval India. So they have written about our culture. Ishwar Das Nagar, Bhimsen Saxena, Kafi Khan, and Niccolo Manushi were among the historians of Aurangzeb's times whose accounts are important sources of Mughal history. So these were some of the historians in Aurangzeb's time, and even that accounts are very important sources of Mughal history. Children, Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire. You all know that Babur was the founder of Mughal Empire, right? And he had written an autobiography entitled Tuzuk-i-Babari. So Babur had written an autobiography entitled Tuzuk-i-Babari, and it contains the description of battles fought by him, and he has also recorded his minute observations of various regions and cities travelled by him, including the local economy, customs, and the flora. So the autobiography which was written by Babur, that is Tuzuk-i-Babari, okay, describes about the battles which he had fought, and also he has recorded his minute observations of various regions and cities travelled by him, including the local economy, customs, and the flora. Now children, this is also very important. Abul Fazl's Akbarnama, it is very important from the viewpoint of critical historiography. His method of collecting authentic historical documents and their scrutiny is looked upon as devoid of bias and hence realistic. So children, Abul Fazl's Akbarnama, it is very, we can say it is very important from viewpoint of critical historiography. So whatever he has written, it is based on authentic historical documents, and he has critically examined it very carefully, and it is not at all biased. It is devoid of bias and hence it is realistic. Now this is very important, children. Bakhar. Bakhar is an important type of historical document of medieval times. It contains eulogies of the heroes and stories of historic events, battles, lives of great men. Eulogies means, children, when you praise somebody, okay? So it contains eulogies of heroes and the stories of historic events, battles, lives of great men. Now, for example, Sabasat Bakhar was written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasat during the reign of Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj, but it gives information about the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So, very important, children, Sabasat Bakhar written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasat, and it was written during the time of Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj, and it gives us information about the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So Bakhar is a very important historical document of medieval times. Now children, for example, just have a look at the image. Sabasat Bakhar, it was written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasat. Then there are some more Bakhars, that is Bahu Sahib Bakhar. It describes the battle of Panipat. Even there is another Bakhar entitled Panipatasi Bakhar. It is also describing about the same event. Holkaransi Kaifiyat, it provides information about the Holkars and the contribution to the Maratha rule. And what is their contribution to the Maratha rule? Okay, so there is Sabasat Bakhar, then Bahu Sahibansi Bakhar, Panipatasi Bakhar, Holkaransi Kaifiyat. Okay, they give information. It is very important. Okay, Bakhar. And in Bakhar, what things are included? For example, the administration by king, biographies of king, then the history, that is the dynastic history. Then if there are any grievances of people, then it could be on mythology, describing various events, history of a sect. So all these are included in Bakhars, okay. Now just this is a gist of what we have learnt in Bakhar, that is information chronologized in Bakhar. For example, Sabasat Bakhar, written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasat, it gives you information about the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Then Bahu Sahibansi Bakhar, it describes about the battle of Panipat. Panipatasi Bakhar also, it gives the information of battle of Panipat. Holkaransi Kaifiyat, it gives information about Holkars and their contribution to Maratha rule. So just it's a compiled, okay, that how you have to revise all these, okay, the Bakhar, who has written the Bakhar, okay. So this all you have to revise, children. Now this is just what we have learned. Now it is in the form of concept map, children. I told you in examination, so you revise all this very carefully. Just have a look. For example, descriptions of battle fought by Babur, and what is autobiography has written? Tuzuki Babari, right? So it was written by Emperor Babur. Then history of Kashmir written by Kalhana Raja Tarangini, and the reign of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Sabasat Bakhar is written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasat. And purpose of historiography is Zahiruddin Barani. It is given in Tariq-e Firuz Shahi. Okay, Shahi is missing here. This Tariq-e Firuz Shahi. So this type of concept maps you can get in your examination. Okay. Now children, let us quickly revise about the historiography in the modern period. Now children, in the 20th century, the Indian archaeological exploration and research, it started under the British rule. Now you all know that we were under the British rule, right? So during that period in 20th century, the Indian archaeological exploration and research, it started under the British rule, and there were number of ancient sites were excavated during the under the supervision of Sir Alexander Cunningham. He was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. And Sir Alexander Cunningham, okay, this is very important, you have to remember, he was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. And Harappan civilization, it was discovered during the tenure of Sir John Marshall. So even the Britishers, okay, they were interested about our Indian culture, okay. During that period, lot of excavations and all was done to find out about our culture. So who was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India? Sir Alexander Cunningham. And during the tenure of Sir John Marshall, Harappan civilization was discovered. Okay, and there were 3 volumes of the history of British India, which was written by James Mill. It was published in 1817. Okay, History of India written by Mount Stuart Elphinstone. He was a governor of Bombay, now Mumbai. Was published in 1841. Children, you have to remember the names of the books and in which year they were published. You can get in your exam. Okay, it could come as a chronological order, arranged in the proper order, or it can come as match the following. So you have to remember the name of the historian, which book he has written, in which year it was published. All this you have to study, children. So 3 volumes of the history of British India. Remember, it is History of British India written by James Mill, and the History of India written by Mount Stuart Elphinstone. Don't get confused, okay. Now children, Grand Duff, he wrote a book entitled The History of Marathas. And children, what they used to do, they used to mock at our culture. They used to feel that their culture is very great, and they used to mock at our culture. They felt that their rule is justified. They are very knowledgeable, and Indians, they are not educated, they are not civilized. So they used to mock at our culture. And similar tendency is witnessed in Colonel Todd's writings about Rajasthan's history. And there were 2 volumes written by William Wilson Hunter on Indian history. It shows a somewhat impartial treatment of subjects. Now some British officers, they used to mock at our culture, but some, they used to be impartial, okay. Then children, Neelkant Janardhan Kirtane and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade, they were 2 Indian historians who took upon the task of exposing the limitations of Grand Duff's writing. Now this is important, children. Grand Duff, he has written a book, A History of Marathas, where they used to contempt our culture. Okay, so there were 2 Indian historians, that is Neelkant Janardhan Kirtane, Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade. They took upon the task of exposing the limitations of Grand Duff's writing. So that was about the history or historiography in the modern period. Okay. Now children, we have just revised, okay, part 1 and part 2, which was taught already in the videos. So children, you have to refer to that video. You have to refer this link which I have provided in YouTube. You will get a detailed explanation of this lesson, okay, in part 1, and even in the children part 2, the link is provided to you. You visit this, and you will get a detailed explanation of the historiography in the ancient period, medieval period, modern period. And children, in the next class we will be revising the next part of this chapter, okay. So Thank you, my dear children. I hope you have understood, and it will definitely be helpful for you in for your upcoming exam, so that you can prepare very well and write your exam very well. Okay. So children, the next part of this lesson, that is a revision of this part, I will be continuing in the next class. Okay children. Thank you very much children.